on, guys? Alec here from Oz Fury Gaming. I'm going to start us off with a little intro here for the Javelin, so I'm just going to shut myself up and you can have a good watch and listen. Alright guys, so having a look at the ship in its mystical form, it's still got it as a real world thing, right? So there's 3 main decks plus a subdeck in the bottom. Now this ship is huge, 322 meters long from like tip to tip. Now that may change, we're not quite sure because obviously the website needs to be updated, but let's talk about the fact that you can get lost in this thing. I've seen a few questions about people going, can we get around, how are we going to navigate it? And in the bottom left hand corner here, we'll see in the latest ATV there's a map showing how to get around from different rooms. So when you're trying to navigate the tight corridors and also the open corridors, because there'll be a lot of holes, locking doors, lots of corners and things, you'll be able to get around with that. That's what I would foresee. Now, talking about the corridors and stuff, guys, the guy who's actually leading the build on it was saying that he said from a first-person shooter aspect of gaming, so he's created a lot of the areas and a lot of things from his work with that. So that's all the way from the air hockey tables to this basketball court with a storage area to places like this where it's nice and tight and sort of dimly lit. So I'd say this would be a cooler for the guns, considering there's heaps of steam coming off it. And also too, I'd say that this is the medical bay. As we can see here too, they're showing off the different looks of the bays, showing this is the central command. As before, it was med bay, so it's white and it's sort of discoloured and very bland. Here's a control bay, so you can see there's heaps of little lights and stuff going on. Now let's talk about the Javelin compared to the Idris. The Idris is a carrier, right? It can actually carry a few vessels. As a good old Javelin can only carry one, which is a Vanguard Warden, might I have. So it's a big vessel it can carry. Now, the Idris is technically a frigate, I should point out. It's not actually a carrier, but it's more of a carrier than what the Javelin's supposed to be. Now, talk about similarities between the two, because it is an Aegis-built ship. Here we will see the briefing room, and then we'll see this is the gravity generator room. So we can see that, the size comparison and also the same components are used, so it's actually a realistic type view on the whole vessels, right? So I'd say that the Javelin is definitely a destroyer in the fact that, the way the hull's set up, the way it's so narrow and sleek and, quite intimidating, as the Idris is definitely that frigate with a big bulkiness about it. So I reckon they've definitely nailed the two looks of the ship, and also to nail the fact that from the same manufacturer they've got the same styling. So as we can see here, guys, they've got these torpedo pods, which you see level 1, 2, and 3. So I'd say that's where the missiles will be coming out of for the, I'm not quite sure though. Now here we see is the hangar. So what actually happens is, as you go to take the vessel up, it actually becomes like the roof for the ship. So there's that warden going up. Pretty cool stuff. And also too, I like the fact you can watch it from the control area. Now I want to talk about too the fact that I think it'd be nice if you could actually take two ships, like say as a 2 Hornets, especially like 2 Super Hornets with a ship would be really good escort if you didn't have anything large like a Polaris, or maybe even like a couple of Geminis or something, especially for that refueling. Now talk about guns, guys. The guns on the ship are designed to be big. Now as we can see here, those are the capital guns. There's one top and bottom, and I would suggest steering clear of these guns. Now I'm going to take a look at the actual website, guys, showing what the guns are meant to be here. So as we can see here on these automatic turrets, they're a size 5. Now here is these bearing guns, which is a size 4, which you can find on the Starfarer Gemini. So I don't think that they would actually be on here, but they look very similar styling, so look at it from another point of view. Now we're just looking at the capital missiles and the capital guns and that sort of thing that are going to be on there. Now there are no shields at all, but S14, so they're quite a large shield. I mentioned too, the whole hull would be shielded, not just a front and rear type thing being a destroyer. Now, I'd like to point out there's only primary engines, so there's those T7s or TR7s, and then there's TR4s, right? Now there's anything about them there. I'll just clicking over, having a look at showing what you guys that there's just no information for them. But there's no maneuvering thrusters being confirmed either. So we'll have a look now at the Idris and actually have a look at what's going on there. And as we can see here, guys, they are manned turrets, not an automatic turret like they are on the Javelin. They do have this unmanned turret though, which I'd say is going to be pretty helpful. Here's our fixed capital gun, which is only a size 5 in comparison to the size 7s that are on the Javelin, but obviously this is a frigate, not a destroyer, so it kind of makes sense. The frigates are meant to sort of take more damage and be sort of a carrier, like a full assist sort of role. Now the additional equipment here, so just showing, is a jump engine that they are allowing. Now it's size 1, but I imagine it'd be bigger because obviously the ships are larger, but they haven't got jump engine technology into the game yet, so what are you going to bother doing? So here they are, guys. They've actually got the thrusters as well as the main engines, as well as all that sort of shields and other stuff sorted out. And weighing at a whopping 1.6 tons, I'm guessing it's going to be a heavy girl to move. So here we are, guys. We can actually see the comparison between the two vessels. We're seeing quite a lot of shots of them, but this is them side by side. Now, obviously, the camera angle is a bit wonky because it's on the angle, but we'll just deal with it. Now, like I said, on the sides, I'd say that's where the missiles would come out of. Like on the top there, were those, well, torpedoes, I should say. But I honestly don't know what that's about. There is no confirmation of where the missiles will sit, and obviously, because there's no hold view, it's really hard to sort of work out what is going to be happening there. Now, I'm curious too with what other changes they've made here, because they were talking about in the, around the verse, they were showing that this is the old view of the commanding deck, the control deck, and you see here they've changed it. So from that big bar in the middle, they've got rid of that, and also too, they're showing here the lighting, the natural lighting coming in, how they tried to sort of get, if you've got all idle or whatever powered down, and you've got no lights on in the cabin, you can see what it's like. So let's also see that the whole thing will be well illuminated in this time. So that's about all I've got to talk about, guys. I was going to leave you here with a little last image of the Idris and Javelin next to each other. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a subscribe if you want to see more information, and a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you want to say anything about it. If you just like the video, just leave a comment about what I can do better. And just a thanks for joining in, guys. I hope to catch you guys in the verse. Toodaloo!